Welcome back to another episode of the Ian Fritz Show. You guys already know it. This is the third episode of the 10 worst things about college football at the moment. We've got the eighth worst thing about college football, and that's the officials, the referees. They're an issue. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game. Unbelievable. 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal.
Now, why are the officials the eighth worst thing in college football? You may be saying, Ian, the officials, that's way too low. You got to bump them up, bump them way up there, probably 3 or 4, maybe even number 1 for some of you, maybe even number 1 for some of you. And I'm going to say to you right now, number 1 is way too high. Number 8 is the perfect spot. I've got 7 things in front of you. You guys are going to want to stay tuned because 7 items, 7 issues are worse than the officials. And some people come at the officials a little too hard. There's a lot of fans out there that want to get these officials, get them off the field. Give me new ones every year. Give me new ones every year. And I'm here to say that is a terrible suggestion. Now, we've got why is it an issue? Why are the officials an issue? And how do we fix it? Those are the 2 things with every issue. We say what it is, why is it an issue? And we say, you know what? We're going to fix this issue. That's what we're going to do. And let me get into it. Why are the officials an issue? Now, the biggest reason the officials are an issue, okay? Everybody knows it happens almost every game, happens way too frequently. The officials have the power. Maybe some of them like the power, but they have the power to make calls or maybe miss calls that affect the outcome of the game. That isn't what an official should be. An official should be there to make calls, not judgment calls. They enforce the rules. When you break the rule, hey, enforced. They shouldn't be there to make judgment calls that impact the game. Judgment calls impact the game. And right now, the officials have too many judgment calls on their hands. So really, this issue is kind of an officials and a rules issue molded into one. But I think the officials are mainly at fault here. Because a lot of time the judgment is wrong. But we've got some solutions for you to say, hey, the judgment doesn't always have to be wrong. Doesn't always have to be wrong. But why is it an issue again? They make calls that impact the game. We live in society right now, 2024, with all of this technology, and we're not using a lot of it. We're using a lot of it, but we're not using all of it to our advantage for the officials, for the referees, for the betterment of the football right now. We're not using it all. Instead, we have I saw him juggle that when he's going to the out of bounds, when he's trying to make that catch right there on the sidelines. I saw him juggle it. No, incomplete. We have instant replay right then and there that says, no, he caught the ball. Instead, we say, guy on the field said he didn't, so we're going to go with that. We're going to go with that. What are we doing? 2024? Guy up in the booth, phone down, hey, he got it. Give him the ball. We don't do that right now. Huge issue. Huge issue. Now, how do we fix these issues? Now, number 1, some of you may say, get rid of the referees. Get them off the field. Give me just football without referees. And I'm going to say to you, that is not what we do. That should not be the solution to the officials, referees issue in college football right now. We've got to find a solution that minimizes. We're not going to eliminate the calls that impact the game. We can minimize it, though. How do we minimize that? How do we fix that issue? Fix doesn't always mean do away with completely. It doesn't always mean that. And in this case, we're not going to do away with officials missing or making calls that impact the game 100%. It's going to be there because they're humans and they make mistakes. It happens. However, it's happening at too high of a clip right now, okay? So we've got some ways to minimize that. Number one, got to have more accountability for these officials out there. They're making calls willy-nilly, whatever they want to do. No repercussions. No repercussions. I'm going to throw this guy out of the game because I thought that was targeting. Boom. Get him out of the game. And I'm thinking to myself, that wasn't targeting. Everybody else in their living room saying that was not targeting. Keep him in the game. That's one of their best players. Keep him in the game. And the refs are like, no, 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 no. I think it was targeting. Anytime you say I think when you're enforcing rules is an issue. Rules shouldn't be an I think. Rules should be a this is what it is. If you do the opposite of what it says, penalty. But if you do what it says, no penalty. That's what a rule is. Okay? There's far too many times where an official, they're reading the rules, they know the rules. They see a play happen live and they say, I'm pretty sure. I'm like 95% sure that he broke the rules there. Penalty. Get him out of the game. We shouldn't have that. We shouldn't have a 95%. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he broke the rules there. It shouldn't exist. It should be he broke the rules. Get him out of the game. Or it should be he didn't break the rules. Keep him in the game. No flag. Let's pick that up. Not a good call by my part. I made a mistake. Far too many times we see them get away. They get away with it. He's right back on the field calling these flags, these plays, whatever it is. He's calling it again the next week in some other game and is ruining another game. That's not what we want. That's not what we want. Not what we want at all. There needs to be more accountability, more repercussions for bad calls, and good calls. When an official and a crew is excelling, they need to be rewarded. Give them bigger games. Give them the national championship. That is a system they use right now. However, another issue with the officials right now, they're just calling willy nilly, whatever they want, impacting the game. Also, the officials are supplied by the conferences. Okay, so you've got the Big 12 officials, you've got RIP to the Pac 12 officials, you've got the SEC officials, you've got the Big 10 officials, ACC officials, Sun Belt, whatever. They're supplied by the conferences. So you've got different groups of officials within the game itself. So you could be watching a Big 12 game and they're throwing penalty flags left and right on pass interferences, whatever they want. You even get within a 15-foot radius of a wide receiver, boom, pass interference. You watch the SEC game, you tackle the guy out there. Like, letting them play. We're letting them play down here in the SEC. This is for big boy football down here. Now, to just your average viewer, that can be a little confusing. That can be a little confusing. But for us diehards, we know, hey, that's just how the Big 12 calls it. That's just how the SEC calls it. No, no, that shouldn't be a thing. It should be, hey, all of the officials, it doesn't matter what conference, all of the officials, they call it the same. Now, everybody's under the same premise. You should be calling it the same. However, there are trends where conferences are officiating differently. That shouldn't be a thing. There should be a level of consistency across all of college football with how we're calling games. If two different referees see the same play happen, it should be called the same thing, flag or no flag, 100% of the time. 100% of the time, it should be called the same way, both referees, both conferences, whatever it is. The inconsistency is the second major issue in the referees right now. Now, how do we fix inconsistency? Well, this may be a unreasonable expectation or an unreasonable fix, but it's an idea. I don't know if it's a good idea. It's an idea. We've got this academy. Let's just make them go to an academy. The officials for the college football academy. I don't know where it's going to be, but make them go 5 months in advance of the season. They're in the lab. They're just watching football. They say, hey, this right here, you see this on the field? No flag. No flag. No matter what. No flag. And if you get a flag, you throw a flag on this one, boom, you're out. You're out. The next weekend, you're not on the field. But they need to be in the lab training every day, running sprints. They need to be running with players down the sideline because they got to multitask. They got to run and call and throw a flag. You got to be doing both. They need to be training, just immense, intense training on the field. Whatever that looks like, get them to an academy. I don't care what it looks like. There needs to be an academy for officials. Get them in the lab. Get them doing work. That's what we need. We need more consistency, and the more you practice it, the more consistent you're going to be. Now, does that lead to consistently bad? Hopefully not, if the trainers are doing what they need to do and everybody's on the same page. So I don't know, that is probably never going to happen. But one thing I think can happen that would help the inconsistency, I teased it earlier, is more in the booth instant replays. How hard is that? We're not living in 1942 anymore. We're not living in 1942 anymore. We've got 8 to 10 officials out there using their own eyeballs. And they say, he didn't catch it. He didn't catch it on the sideline, juggle. Didn't catch it, incomplete. Redo, 2nd and 10. But I'm up there in the booth. I'm watching the replay. Oh, he did catch it. He did right here. 2 feet in, 1 foot in, secured it, not bobbling it. Hey, Billy Bob. He actually caught it. Close this thing down, give them the 15 yards that they gained. We're moving right along. We're moving right along. Now, we don't need to go into the booth and they don't need to bring that little TV screen out there for the head referee to get in there and we're just sitting on our phones while he's doing this stupid little thing on the sideline. We don't need that anymore. We don't get rid of that. They don't need to bring the camera out in the TV screen for this referee to see whether or not he caught it. We got officials up in the booth. We got officials in New York. They're watching the game. They have all the camera angles. They have it all. Let that guy say, hey, he caught it. It can happen in 2 seconds. 2 seconds. There is a little bit of this, but we need more of it. We need more of it. Now, obviously, can't happen every single play, but ones that are obvious, ones that take 2 seconds to see, hey, he caught this clearly on the sidelines. Give him the 15 yards. Give it to him. We need to go into the booth. Jimbo Bob up here needs to tell Billy Bob down there, hey, he caught it. 15 yards, move him right along. And we're moving. And you don't have everybody on Twitter. He caught that. What are we doing? Incomplete 2nd and 10. What are we doing? He caught it. Billy Bob up in the booth said it. Jimbo Bob down there. I may have mixed their names up. I needed to pick. Why did I pick Billy Bob and Jimbo Bob? Terrible, terrible name suggestions, Ian. Anyways, the guy in the booth, he has the ability with the replays right in front of him. Instantaneous, boom, right there, split second. He caught it. Give it to him. He didn't catch it. Take it away. We have the ability to do that with the technology we have right now in the moment. And we're not doing it. This would help the inconsistencies and the calls that impact or the missed calls that impact the game right now at the college football level. You implement more technology, more guys in the booth making calls in the moment. You maybe create an academy for these officials to go train for 3-4 months out of the year. And you get rid of this conference officials garbage. You get rid of that. That's terrible. They all need to be under the one umbrella. That's an NCAA referee. You don't need to say that's an SEC official. That's an NCAA official. It should be the same thing. Should be the same thing. So the biggest, most reasonable fix we can do, get that guy up in the booth. That guy up in the booth, hey, he caught it. Happens in a second. That would improve this game tenfold. Now, that does it for the 8th worst thing about college football at this moment. It could change 5-10 years from now, but right now, that the officials / the rules are the 8th worst thing about college football. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, if you're a new viewer, if you're just tuning in, hey, this is my first time on the channel, comment down below. I'll respond to you and subscribe. Tell your best friend Billy Bob, maybe he's that official that I was just talking about just then. Tell him, hey, Ian Fritz Show, he's trying to help you guys out. Subscribe to his channel. Whatever it is, get your mom's phone, grandma's phone, I don't care who it is. Subscribe. We're well on our way. We're up. We're on the uppity up. And stay tuned for the next episode. It's going to be a fun one. We're getting into the 7th worst thing about college football. I'm not going to tell you it right now, but we will talk about it in a few days' time on the YouTube channel, on the podcast waves. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. Bye.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game. Unbelievable. 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis.